coming to you a long time ago on a podcast far, far away. It's season 9 of the 10 Point Podcast.
Who would have thunk it?
Unbelievable, precedented into our
considerably in the last few years.
Is this our 5th year of the podcast? Yes, it is. It's
We're pre-pandemics.
We are 4 years old and we are in our 5th year of the podcast. My name is Bruce, and the internet has given everybody in the world a voice. For some reason, everybody decides to use that voice to bitch about movies. With me this week, oh, what a lovely tea party. First, what is your damage, little boy? You got a sick and twisted world perspective. It's
yeah, I'm taking that one. That's me.
Yes, that's definitely you. And secondly, I look into his sorry doe eyes and I see a man crying out. He's crying out, "When, Lord? When can your servant ditch these foul-mouthed little chuckleheads to whom I am a constant victim of their folly? When? Lord, when? When's going to be my time?" It's Chris.
Newty Boochies.
Yes, I thought when the Affleck said that.
Affleck's the bomb.
That's Chris. That's Chris. We are the 10 Point Podcast. Welcome to season 9 of our silly little podcast where we make film references just to make each other laugh and talk about films that half of you haven't seen because they're not on streaming services the week we try and tell everyone to watch them, because that seems to be the pattern. Every single podcast app in the world, you can find the 10 Point Podcast. All episodes are, in fact, on Spotify. That's the one place I know for certain you can get every episode. Video versions for all of them on there. Asterisk, some of them didn't record back in the day, so you can see our wonderful, a wonderful background. I don't know if they do censorship of background words on.
This is not a bad background.
Right,
I'm just helping the monkeys.
Helping the liberation of itinerant tree dwellers.
Yes,
is what he is helping. YouTube, you can see full versions of us. It's a video version, don't have to be the podcast one. You can watch it on your telly and all that sort of stuff, which you can do with Spotify as well if you get the right app, but not all episodes are up there. They call that the 10 Point Broadcast when it's on YouTube.
That's the reason it's coming.
It might eventually come out why we call it 10 Point Broadcast. And that's it, 10pointpodcast.com. That's our website. You can contact us over there. Facebook, Twitter. It's like a running gag. Like back in the days, we don't have an Instagram because we're a podcast. It used to be the gag. No, we have a Facebook and a Twitter, but nobody ever uses it. But it will flag up if someone sends us a message on Facebook and Twitter one way or another. If not, email 10pointpodcast.com. You'll find an email address to contact us over there, especially if you want to sponsor the podcast.
It's not a sponsor and stop watching The Boy in the Striped Pajamas for some reason.
Yeah, it peaked in popularity.
It really did.
Boy in the Striped Pajamas out of nowhere. Very strange. Which reminds me that I was looking at one of our most watched episodes recently. I've never forgotten which one it was. On the YouTubes, as I was looking through it for the pointies, one episode had an inexplicable amount of number more than
look
the other
who's
ones.
Talking. I think Blade were the two big ones.
Well, Blade 2 was the first ever one on the channel, which is why I think it was so popular. But there's one recently had a huge number come out. I've forgotten which one it was. I meant to mention it on the pointies. But anyway, that's who we are. Before we start season 9, normally I do what was the highlight of everyone's week between episodes, but there's been a few weeks, a long time of weeks between. So what has been everybody's highlights in season 8? Chris, I think you look like you're most ready and primed to go with your highlights.
He's forgotten what he's watched.
Yeah, I did an extra 4 months to it. Well, most recently, the one I can remember is I watched Five Nights at Freddy with my daughter because she likes Five Nights at Freddy's, and I was like, I'll sit with you and watch it so you don't get freaked out.
How old is your daughter? Which 10 years old, right?
It's not scary, but it's not a fucking kid's film.
I think there's only one really bad word, and you don't actually get to see anybody get mauled. It's more.
Well, for me, it was like the when the mouth opens and there's all these saws and shit. It's like, this is worse than Saw. This dismemberment.
But you don't actually get to see anything, so it's not. I wouldn't say it's that bad, but it's quite a good film actually.
Good.
The Lallard steals the show, doesn't he?
Yeah. I saw it coming a mile away. That's all I'll say.
Are they going on with it? Did it make enough money?
I'd say so.
Yeah, I remember it being popular when it was out. That's Chris's highlight. I'll go with mine next. Wait till Andy's at the end, see if he's got something. Undoubtedly, my film of the year of 2024. Brackets. I don't think I watched half the films I should have done last year. There was a lot of good films came out last year, and I saw none of them. I think basically, Godzilla -1. It was everything I was looking for in a Godzilla movie. The one difference being that my Godzilla, 2014's Godzilla, King of the Monsters, he is a force for good to save all of us puny humans on Earth. He is the good guy. He's my hero, God being the right word. Godzilla -1. This MFer is out for carnage,
Bastard.
revenge, and death. Yes, he is the evilest thing on Earth, and I was kind of there for it. I quite enjoyed it.
It was a nice change, I thought.
Yeah, a nice change of pace. It's equally amazingly futuristic looking, kind of special effects wise, but also hilariously looks like a guy in a suit wandering around. It's the equal parts of both. I just loved that. And I think there's maybe, I don't know, 3% too much of non-Godzilla activities, i.e., the kind of the main man and the main woman and the kid and all that. It's like a tiny bit too much of that, but it wasn't too offensive, and I quite liked some of the twists and turns that came along with the human beings aspect of it. But the crew on the boat, the Jaws style, 4 of them out on the boat when they're hunting it or not hunting it, as it turns out. Really, really good. The plane stuff, I like the ending and all that stuff, and it looks like we're gonna get more, and that's exciting for me. But yeah, it stands alone as a good film, I think. And yeah, Godzilla -1, undoubtedly my film of last year, having not seen much, I will say. So yeah, Godzilla -1, 2 thumbs up for
It's
me.
on my list for the films of last year.
Good, good. Which we never did that podcast. I know we're talking about it. It might come out at some point. We'll do the best films of last year. Andy, what was your highlight since last December?
I've watched a lot. However, I'm just going to go with what I watched just literally 5 minutes before this podcast started. Halo
Spoilers.
Season 2.
Halo. I saw an advert for that the other day. Yeah.
Season 1 was a bit slated. He was a lot naked. There was a lot of sexy times in Halo. None of which should be in Halo.
Right.
However, first 5 minutes of this Halo, I mean, they've righted some wrongs.
They've got 1 season to reel me back in, or I'm out.
It's
Okay.
I'm all in. I've got another episode to watch straight after this podcast. So
Brilliant.
Halo Season 2, give it a chance.
Andy's back in Halo again. Is that Paramount Plus in the UK?
Aye.
Paramount Plus in the UK, which I don't have. I've yet to. I was waiting until Monarch, the TV series, had finished on Apple before subscribing, so I could watch all the episodes.
They fucked
and then
me.
I forgot.
I was really enjoying that, but there's still I think 2 episodes to come out, but they're holding off until the new Godzilla comes out because I can see exactly what's happening because
Right,
I'm trying to work out the timelines and it's all over the shop anyway.
Right.
But apparently it massively links to the new one. So they've had to hold off the episodes, and I think they've moved Godzilla up 2 weeks as well to try and get in line with it as well.
My free trial's going to run out then.
But yeah, I've got to try and do it all in a month. But yeah, Godzilla, I've already watched the 2014 Godzilla and King of the Monsters this year. I'm Godzilla hype. I'm putting off watching Godzilla v Kong because I don't remember liking it that much. So we'll get there eventually. Right, that's what happened when we weren't on, but we're back. So let's get back in with point number 1. As always, what is the point? Our information on the film we're doing this week. The point. The 2001 comedy Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. That is all IMDb would give me for genre. Was just
all you need.
Comedy. Yeah, there was no extra bits on it. No road trip, no spoof, no anything like that. It was just comedy. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Co-starring, written and directed by Kevin Smith. And for everybody, I've got the 4 famous fours here, so you can argue with me. Kevin Smith, famous for Clerks, Chasing Amy, Dogma, and Clerks 2. That's what Kevin Smith is famous.
I had 4.
I was going to say that.
That's the only other film I've seen him in.
True, yeah. Because he's a stormtrooper, but is it on a TV show that he's a stormtrooper? I think in Star Wars, or is it one of the?
No, he's in Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. Okay.
He's got a line as well. He's got a line.
He does have a line. He does. So yeah, you're right. So he wrote and directed. We've done him. I think this is now the 4th Kevin Smith film, directed, and starring. So
this has
Kevin
picked
Smith.
all the previous ones.
Is that right?
No, I never did Dogma.
Oh, you did.
I think you picked Dogma.
You must pick Dogma then, because I didn't. Yeah.
I'm picking.
I was
going Clerks 1 and 2.
All right.
Clerks 1 and 2. Cool. So our stars. I've kind of gone with the 4 main stars because the cast list is always alphabetical order. So, and also it often has Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes at the end, who aren't the end of the cast. So main star as Jason Mewes, and he is famous for Clerks, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and Clerks 2, all the same stuff. And yes, he's basically just famous for being Kevin Smith's films, so nothing too
Zack
different
and
there.
Mary Make a Porno is another
Yeah.
film I've seen him in.
Yep.
Right, so, yeah, there's a lot of crossover because he's not the
What's
only
it
one.
Lester the Molester Von Stein or something like
Yep,
that.
that's
Is
his
that it?
name.
Right. A second star I've picked out. He's often highly billed on things as Holden McNeil and himself, Ben Affleck. Famous for Good Will Hunting, The Town, Argo, and Gone Girl. They are the four
Phantoms.
Phantoms is, yes, true. Batman, I guess, would maybe sneak in there at this point because he's quite famous for being Batman, and he's in a lot of things as Ben Affleck. And we've done him before, as you may have worked out from that. Third, as Justice, Shannon Elizabeth. Famous for...
By the way, this is why I picked this film.
The Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah, because you were slagging her off in the pointies, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm going for it. It was on the list. I'm moving it up. That's why I did it. Her redemption stories.
The point is,
I don't think we're necessarily slagging her off as such.
No, you said she was underused in 13 Ghosts, and then you slagged off 13 Ghosts. So,
well, okay, 13 Ghosts, yeah. She's famous for American Pie. I could end it there. That's what she's famous for. Here's a question: is she in Scary Movie or Scream?
Scary Movie.
I hate this
She's in Scary
every
Movie.
time.
She's in Scary Movie.
Those two films are confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, Scary Movie, correct. She plays Rose McGowan basically in Scary Movie, which is the way to work it out.
Love actually, scenes where she snaps her leg and the thing just like. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
Love Actually is one of the things she's famous for. I think she has literally one scene in that film. And then Jade Silent Bob reboot, not Strike Back, but reboot, apparently, which is a thought I had because I still haven't yet to see Jade Silent Bob reboot, as well as Clerks 3. As well as Clerks 3. I've seen neither of them. But yeah, at the end of the film, I was like, I wonder if she comes back in the reboot. And I did this. I was like, oh, she doesn't. Okay.
Chris did the best thing ever in the reboot. He was watching it, and we had a few ciders, and he was like this. Like, he had the biggest jolt ever. But like maybe 2 seconds before that, he was laughing at a gag on the screen and then just went back. He keeled over and went straight back like he just fucking woke himself up. It was brilliant.
He's seen my narcolepsy more than anybody else.
It was hilarious. I absolutely shit myself.
And the fourth star I picked out, the fourth person I feel like who's one of the main characters in this film, Ben Affleck. Touch and go. But the other main character as Marshall Willenholly, Will Ferrell, famous for Anchorman, Talladega Nights, Blades of Glory, and Anchorman 2, which I think does him a bit of a
And Chris had no idea he was in this film.
No. We're going to talk like, well, the picture comes up with James Silent Bob and they've got all the people behind them. Like, we're watching it and then it stopped and then we came back to it and I was like, fucking hell, that's Will Ferrell out of nowhere. And it was sitting there ages. 43
minutes into the runtime is when he first appears on his scooter. So that's like he's in it tons after that. But yeah, I remember being in a film, but I didn't remember being in quite as much as he was, which I'm sure we'll come on to. Jane Silent Bob Strike Back, budget $22 million. US opening weekend, $11 million. Final US gross, $30 million. Final worldwide, I've got a question mark next to it, $33.7 million.
What? So nobody else in the world liked it.
I don't believe this made 30 million in the US and then 3.5 in the rest of the world. I don't believe that. Unless they put Canadian numbers into the worldwide, but I feel like this would make some money in Canada.
But I don't remember it being hyped much over here.
No, but you can tell.
I remember seeing this in the Blockbusters and I was like, yes, it's on.
I haven't got this in my notes anywhere, but off the top of your head, Andy or Chris, if you remember, how many films has Kevin Smith made basically in the View-esque universe, like between Dogma and where he is now? Like, how many is it?
8?
Well, there's Clerks 2, Mallrats, Jersey Girls, Chasing Amy, then it would be this, then it would be, well, yeah, Dogma, then
Dogma's
this.
before this.
Aye, Dogma, then this, then, this is that.
Clerks 2?
Clerks 2. Technically, you've got the Canadian, it's not the View-esque universe, but you've got the Canadian one, which is the Shark Muse thing, and you've got Tusk, and then there's another one, and then Reboot. Yeah, 8, 9 in this.
Yeah, because it feels like on your list, Clerks was the first one.
Yep.
But then he cranks out like 6 in about 6 years.
Yeah, it was literally like Clerks, and it was Mallrats, Jersey Girls, Chasing Amy. It was these 3 big ones. And then Dogma.
Clerks 3 is his 9th feature film.
Aye.
9th.
Apparently.
Clerks 3 was.
Aye,
So was
so
that
then-
after Reboot? That was
Aye, so
after
10
Reboot.
Aye, I'm sorry. Aye.
So yeah. So he did have a big gap, but you're right. It feels like 96 to 2002 or something like that. It was like one every year. Felt like it really cranked up then at that point, which is where we're right in the middle of that, 2001, or maybe right at the end of it. Released in America 24th of August 2001. Didn't make it to the UK till the 30th of November 2001, which is a big gap in between. That meant it qualified for a mixture of 2001, 2002 awards ceremonies.
Going to win an Oscar here.
It didn't. It wasn't nominated for anything at the Oscars. No Oscars,
Shambles.
no Razzies. MTV Movie Awards, nothing.
Oh,
Shocked me. And the Saturn Awards doesn't fit in really too much in the way the Saturn Awards. So I had to go look a bit deeper. And I found that it only ever received 4 nominations in its history. One of them was at the Golden Trailer Awards, where it was nominated for Trashiest Trailer. And it lost to some film I can't even remember the name of that I'd never heard of. And I mean, it looks so insignificant that it'll never be done on the podcast. So that. 2 nominations at the Golden Schmoes. Now, they'll let anybody in now. I think we can get the pointies on if Golden Schmoes is getting onto this.
yes.
Nominated for Best Comedy of the Year, it lost to Shrek, which it feels weird to be in the same category. And it was the winner of the award for Coolest Character of the Year, which tells you that we could definitely get on IMDb if this one can. Coolest Character of the Year. And the winner of Coolest Character was Jay and Silent Bob. So it's actually 2 characters.
Aye, we're definitely putting the pointies on stuff now.
Definitely. And then one other nomination at the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, nominated for Worst Supporting Actress, Shannon Elizabeth. Which is a bit harsh because it was actually because she was 4 films released in the year that she was nominated for, but also included 13 Ghosts as well.
This is a redemption story, though.
Okay, well, they both led to her being nominated for worst. She didn't win. Tori Spelling in Scary Movie 2 won Worst Actress. Okay. So she wasn't Worst Actress. Synopsis for Jane, Silent Bob Strike Back, brought to us by Lordship. This person thinks very highly of themselves.
Okay.
And a new contributor. I've not read this once. I have no idea what this says. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, said the thing immediately. I like it. It is a tale of adventure on the open road when Dante and Randall of Clerks fame get a restraining order to keep the punchy Jay and his hetero life mate, Silent Bob, from selling drugs in front of the Quick Stop convenience store. Their lives are suddenly empty. They find a new purpose when their friend Brody informs them a movie is being made featuring 2 infamous characters based on their likenesses. After visiting one of the creators of The Blunt Man and Chronic, Holden McNeil, they set out to get what fat movie cash they deserve and hopefully put an end to people slandering them on the internet. Along the way, they learn the rules of the road from a hitchhiking George Carlin, ride with a group of gorgeous jewel thieves, and incur the wrath of a hapless wildlife marshal for liberating an orangutan named Suzanne. The quest takes them from New Jersey to Hollywood, where a showdown involving the police, the jewel thieves, and the Blunt Man and Chronic filmmakers will decide the fate of Suzanne, Jay, Silent Bob, and their good names.
Oh, that's a good review. Well,
that was good.
I love that phrase, my hetero life partner.
Hetero life partner, yeah. I guess you two on the podcast, we are all, the 3 of us are hetero life partners.
Well, me and Chris have officially made it official that we're in a relationship.
Is that right?
We send each other reels all the time now.
Right. When one of you goes to bed, you send reels to the other one.
Yeah, we do a real relationship.
A real relationship, okay. Who picked Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? It was Andy. Andy, why have you picked Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? Other than Shannon Elizabeth redemption arc.
Well, there was that, but Chris said he hadn't seen it, and we've been dicking around him needing to see this. And this is just like if you pick any kind of Kevin Smith film, this one you get a taste of everything that he does. It's not necessarily the best one, but it's all encompassing. It's 1,000 times funnier if you've seen them all. But also, I feel like it is just a standalone film where you can get gags anyway.
It's kind of a greatest hits of Kevin Smith. It's like bits and pieces of all the ones that came before, and kind of some that kind of lead you towards the future a little bit as well.
Yeah, and it's
next,
just funny. And it's one of these films that there's certain films that I absolutely love and adore, and I've made people watching this podcast already, like Kung Pao. I watched Kung Pao 3 times in one day when I first seen it.
Right.
And there's other films like that I'll come up on the podcast. This is one of them. I remember going to Blockbusters going, that's the same guy who did Dogma. Like, I had no idea this was out. Like, obviously, I wasn't like kind of into like the cinema and all that. I was like, getting this, and it just the cover photo is like, oh, it's like straight back. Oh, it's a bit Star Warsy. I'm watching this, and I watched this like twice in one day. It was amazing.
Brilliant. So Andy'd seen it before because he picked it. I have seen it before several times. Chris, you had not seen it before. Is that the
turns out
suggestion?
I have, because through the
Right.
whole watching with Andy, I was like, I remember that bit, and I was like, no, I don't remember what's happening, and I was like,
Nope.
I
They kept
remember
having these
this bit.
blanks.
It's like stuff that happened in between, and I remembered vividly.
So
And I remember at the
that's
very end.
kind of the problem I have with what I was talking about. Is that Kevin Smith released 6 films in the space of, I don't know, 10 years. So, and they all have Jay and Silent Bob with them, and they all have the kind of the same actors in it because obviously Ben Affleck and Jason Lee play. So, lots of the bits and pieces to me are all muddled up in my mind, and I have to watch each film to remember what bits are in it. Because I remember when we did Clerks 2, I was like, is this not the one that has the computer bit in the corner where they go over and you were like, no, that's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So it's like, yeah, they do get muddled in your mind because they're all the same. Like it's the same tone. This one's maybe a bit more cartoony than a lot of the other ones, but it's they have a similar sort of tone. Which version did we watch? There is only one version of Jay and Silent Bob. However, that's a bit of a lie because Kevin Smith once showed the film, including all deleted scenes, at his film festival the year after it came out in 2002. So he once showed everybody, here's like the 3-hour long version of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Point 2 on the podcast is the high points. We talk about the best bits and things, PCs, performances, and all that sort of stuff. Andy, why don't you take us through the high points, and me and Chris will chime in
Right,
with
I'm going
agreements and all that
like
sort of stuff.
I know we said we were going to do it like this, but however, the start. This is a strong start. So instantly, one of my high points throughout this film is that little musical interlude thing they do. You know, the dun dun, like, and it like comes up and it flashes like points,
Right,
like key
yeah.
points, like whatever that tune is. That's all the way through at the start, and he's like, you get it right at the start, you get like a little Star Warsy thing, then you get that little tune, but then it goes into the kind of, oh, this is Clerks. You get the Clerks vibe, and then you get the great scene with the 2 kids, and you see
The 2
Jay and
babies.
Silent Bob's montage.
That transition from baby Jay to adult
Yes.
Jay is fucking perfect.
It's just absolutely brilliant. Harley Quinn Smith at her best acting right there.
Which baby was she playing? I can't remember.
She was the one that says fuck, so she's playing Jay.
She's Jay as a baby, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, in fact, I've got the right next to me. In fact, she plays Baby Silent Bob. I apologize, Andy. Yeah.
Oh, well,
So
no,
she doesn't speak.
it's her voice. No, it's her voice.
Baby, okay, right.
Because basically he taught her to swear because he didn't want to get another thing and just thought it'd be funnier to get a kid swearing. So they must have switched the voices over.
So speaking of this scene and the swearing, I agree, yes, it's a good scene and it's a good splice. But yeah, this is when I first lost my mind counting the swearing in this film. Because it's been a while since we've done an episode, obviously. It's probably been a couple of months since we've done an episode, so I have to remind myself of my responsibilities, and one of them is counting the F-bombs in the film. 23 in the first 2 minutes there were F-bombs in this film. And that's including the credits. So like that's Andy's swooshing and the noises. So half of the first 2 minutes might be not swearing, and then 23 rattled out in like a minute. So yeah. I liked it, but yeah, counting the swearing did my head. I actually had to stop because it fried my brain and I was counting on my fingers. Back to you, Andy. High points.
But yeah, ultimately, like this, the kind of whole scene, like the start bit and everything is like you if you know the film, you get the new, like you see the same characters, you're familiar with Clerks. But even if you're not, like they very much home in these 2 are troublemakers, but the convenience store guys, they're in the rights, and then the police come, and it's just you get this comic, like perfect comic sketch. Where just like you get the Star Wars references straight away, and then you just get Jason Mewes and just slapstick, funny, like it's got all your comedy elements in it.
For me, it's weird seeing Dante and Randall, like Clerks 1, Dante and Randall, not in Clerks 1, but also not quite Clerks 2 yet. It's weird having like 5 minutes.
I was just going to ask that, but I think I kind of figured it in my head because in Clerks 2, obviously Jay and Silent Bob pay for the give them the money, so obviously they haven't got that money yet. So yeah, I was going to ask that.
Then the Clerks 2, they end up owning it, don't they? They bought and own the Quick Stop and the video store. And yeah, at this point, they're still just working. It's kind of weird, kind of uncanny, sort of the 2 of them. It's still Clerks 1, but it's not Clerks 1. It's like, I don't know, what would it be, 7 years later or something like that. It's quite strange.
But like the kind of tone throughout, you get all the kind of cameos like from Kevin Smith's universe and all that. But it's just like straight away, it's a strong start. It's just like you got that, but then you just hit cameo after cameo, and this film is about the cameos.
The first one, the Ben Affleck scene, is my first high
Yes.
point I had to write down when they go and see Holden McNeil from Chasing Amy.
He's chasing
Am
Amy,
I
yes.
Chasing Amy, right?
Him and
Yeah,
Jason Lee are
I'm going to
pretty
quickly
much-
bring up a low point here because I haven't seen Chasing Amy
Me
or
neither.
what's the other one?
Jersey Girl.
Jersey Girl?
Just haven't seen either of them. So when they start throwing names like Holden McNeil and I think Banky or Brody, I'm just like, I haven't got a fucking clue who they're talking about.
Well, see, having not seen Chasing Amy, I thought the film gave me a good enough idea who they were.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
like,
why,
okay,
that's why I've like kind of getting onto it. It kind of works that way. So you don't have
Yeah.
to know it. It's like they very much try and explain it very quickly.
because it took me a minute or two, or maybe a watch or two over time to realize that Jason Lee in the scene after is the Jason Lee from Mallrats. Am I right in thinking?
Yes.
Is that, or is
So
that
he-
a different
No,
one?
so he says so the one in the comic ones is the Mallrats one,
Yeah,
but then the other one
At the
is
end.
Banky. He's the Chasing Amy one.
he's from Chasing Amy. Yeah, so
Yes.
I've got there over time, still never having seen. But then also, I've only ever seen Mallrats, I think, once, but I remember that much. So it's, yeah, I saw this film probably only after Clerks 1 and Dogma. I might only have seen those two at a push. It might have been maybe even after Dogma. So
No, just him explaining the internet and stuff like that. It's
what
brilliant.
the expletive deleted is the internet.
Yes.
That was the first time I actually like lolled. I laughed out loud when Jay's like, no idea what the internet is, which is hilarious now. But even I think it 2001,
Yeah,
that was a joke.
Yeah, yeah. Like we'd still be on kind of just dial up, like not even getting good broadband back in Moffat. Like it's just like that's what I just connected to straight away. It's just like brilliant, and then it's just like that's what I used the internet for, was just going online to see what movies were coming out. Right,
Did you go to? I looked, and moviepoopshoot.com is still there.
Yeah,
But it looks very unused.
yes.
And I wonder how much you think Kevin Smith would want for it if we could, like, if we got that website and redirected it to 10pointpodcast.com. We'd be laughing, I think.
Exactly.
So, but it looks very unused. Andy, you've got your finger to the pulse when the way internet goes. So that's something for you. Put in your notes to investigate. How can we buy?
Technically, that's another I'll go with another high point. Is very much quotable, this film. Like you've done it like multiple times, even when you're not trying, like fingers to the pulse and stuff like that. It's just there's things I use, like you've talked about in previous films. It's just things you use in everyday life. I do this all the time in Clerks. Yeah,
there's a few from this that I do that I didn't know I did.
Well, the biggest one I completely forgot is, you'll know this from doing the shows, going for a salad.
Go for a salad. I know.
Genuinely, I completely forgot. That's where I picked it up from.
So the context for that is that we used to run shows frequently, and Andy and I would have radios and a few other on the crew. So we need to know, we're on the same team, so we had to know whereabouts. Where are you? Oh, I'm in this location, that location. But quite occasionally, a group of like lads, one or two of them might have to go use the facilities in the building. So we can't just be, oh, I'm in the toilet on the radio for anyone to hear it.
Yeah.
So I'm going for a salad, or something involving salad was a stand-in for going to the toilet. And it turns out Andy had forgotten that he'd taken it from this
forgot.
film.
I just thought, I forgot this is where this came from. And one of my favorite times was I was at a show, and it was like a gaming show. And you never want to use a toilet where gamers are. Right? They're grim. So I walked through into the next hall, into the venue. Walked past security. It was a yoga show, so it was all these women just bending over and stuff like that. And I walked past security, and the security guard just looked at me blank in the eye. Went, "Hey, where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm off for a salad." And he's like, "All right," and just let me go. So he knew this film. He knew what I was talking about. So,
of course, the code it doesn't mean that in the film. It's one of the scenes. Well, it's the scene where Jay loses the head with Bob not speaking when he can, and he's just trying to sign language him the sign of the back of the car.
Salad.
Like, you need to go for a shit. And he shakes his head. You need to go for a salad was the next thing he said. And I was like, oh my God, that's the same thing. Oh no, wait, it's not. It's only to me, Andy, and a few others. That's the same
subconsciously,
thing.
This film just ekes things into my brain, and it does it so well. I didn't even notice it was from this film.
So it's now an established canon on the podcast now. Going for a salad is going for a shite.
Yeah. I'm going to let Chris go for the next high point, because I reckon he's going to go right to where I'm going anyway.
Well, fair enough.
Where is he?
If it is the same place, I'm like George Carlin in his explanation of
the rules of the road.
The rules of the road.
The book
is just hilarious.
He's got such
George
a
Carlin
voice as well.
He does his voice. I was like, I know that voice. What animated show have I seen that voice in? And it's like, turns to him. Oh yeah, it's George Carlin. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
I just love his just saying, it's expected of you. If you, it's like, doesn't matter. He's like, nobody's gay anymore. It's just, We're all here for a good time.
It's the 21st century.
And he's so ahead of his time. Like George Carlin, I don't know if you ever watched his stand-up. He's brilliant, and
I've seen bits and pieces.
He is very much ahead of his time, like when he was doing it in the early '90s and stuff like that. It's pretty much what the world is now. You know, he's talking about transvestites and gays and all this, and it's like, yeah, he was right back in the early '90s. It's exactly
nearly any new kind of popular, whoever the top comedian is at any point, the best stand-up, best comedian in the world, they always at some point reference, George Carlin as being great, and it's like, oh, I love George Carlin stuff and all that. So,
and it's just this whole scene with them is just brilliant, and it's just the progression of the scene as well. Like something's going to happen.
I love the running gag through the whole film as well.
Like, it comes back later.
But I didn't see the cameo coming. Like I remember we're first watching this, and just like, oh, it's a nun turn off. It's like, and even he was like, "Is that Carrie Fisher?"
I'm still looking back, just watching the film, just going, "That's Carrie Fisher."
And it's such a good scene because like you realize that it's Carrie Fisher, even if you don't know it's Carrie Fisher. Like they distract your attention that it's a nun.
Yeah,
and it's like you've just heard him explain what the rules of the road are, and you automatically think, this is not going to happen.
Wait, I can already see where this is going. Yeah.
And it just starts, it's like the book, and he's just like, Jay's already working at Silent Bob's in the back, you can see him working it out. It's like, there's no way they're going to do it. And then she's insisting on it. It's so hilarious how
I love that, like, Bob's supposed to be the smart one, but even he's thinking, God, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And like, you just see Jay going, right, okay, here we go.
It must have happened to everybody that you've had, like, something has happened, it's just gone into your mind, and you're still thinking about it when a different scenario comes up. Like, I remember once, I can't remember what the context was, but I remember having a conversation with somebody, and somebody was like, I can't understand why anybody likes Train Spotting. And I'm like, oh, I like Train Spotting. And it's like, well, what do you love so much about it? And I'm like, oh, it's sensational. It's a real thing. It's one of the best things, like, in Scotland that this ever done. And started talking, and then about, I don't know, quicker than I remember, it turned out I was talking about the film, but he was talking about the pastime, Train Spotting.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, oh, love Train Spotting, absolutely fantastic. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. It's like, it's this.
I love watching people on drugs. And I love watching people drive down toilets. Oh, I was talking about the trains here, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's happened to everybody. Like, there's been a cross wire somewhere. And so yeah, the guy had no idea what I was talking. Like, what? I was like, oh, Train Spotting's incredible.
It leads right to my next high point is the Mystery Machine.
The cut to it feels like we're in a cartoon, and then immediately the Mystery Machine.
I know it was like ahead of the actual thing, but if they had got the actual live action people before they were even the live action, that would have.
I did have
the internet.
I had a glance and I thought it was Freddie Prinze Jr. in the front at first. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh no, wait, that's not Freddie Prinze Jr. in the front. Even if it was Lillard, you could see Matthew Lillard being in this, because think of the Scream crossovers there already is. That you could imagine him just being, oh yeah, I'll be Shaggy in the movie for you, or we can get him to be Shaggy. It's just, it's really funny. It's with this, like, this is before the Scooby-Doo movie, you said, Chris.
Yeah, I think
it's 2002. The Scooby-Doo movie. This is what, 2000, 2001?
Yeah,
because
Scooby-Doo would still just be that old cartoon at this stage. I don't remember in our school years, were they making new Scooby-Doos around then? I don't remember seeing
like the random films and that, but it came back with a vengeance around about like the live action.
Yeah, exactly. So this might be right at the do you remember Scooby-Doo kind of time before it was everyone knows Scooby-Doo. So yeah, a really good joke.
I was because Velma was talking about, oh, I wish there were girls, and like nobody knew she was a lesbian, I don't think.
Yeah.
Or
it was always implied.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but yeah, it's a great likeness for the van as well. The way it's lit up, I love the cut of them turning. It's just parked right there. It's sensational. Are we at movies yet?
Yeah, I feel like that's where I'll give Bruce this one.
Yeah.
Movies, the internet terminal when they go in. It's just like the one, like,
I still do all the time as well.
The whole spiel that Jay about the expletive deleted into your expletive deleted and all that sort of stuff. But when it reads out, any Jay and Silent Bob movie is going to suck balls because they do in fact suck balls, and it just broke me at that point. I couldn't stop laughing. And then he writes back, "You will be the one sucking the balls" when he's come back to this. Oh, for God's sake!
I think this got me clicks too as well, because I thought them typing in it was going to pop up on some big screen, and everybody, the street was going to see it.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure they broke me with that in Clerks 2 as well.
There's not too much of that kind of humor in the film, with the two of
No.
them kind of making a complete arse of things for everyone to be like, there's not much of this. It is just them barreling on, going on about the business, being clueless, basically. There's not much that I don't know, it's hard to explain. They aren't the center of attention. They're not fish out of water to ruin everybody else's day a lot of time. Obviously, when they get to the diner with the orangutan later on, kind of accidentally, but they do leave and they get out of the way. But other than that, it's not. They don't storm into movies and make a complete mess of the place. They
No.
don't go into other places in the film and make a complete mess of the place. It's a case of they just the chaos goes on around about them and they just keep on being Jay and Silent Bob, and that's what's good about it.
But yeah, the next high point is the intro of Shannon Elizabeth.
Straight away, it's my next. It's a separate high point. Is
Yeah.
after that.
It's Jay's, like, throughout the film, his daydreaming, just standing going,
It's his face. He's such a good face actor, I'd say.
With the finger.
Yeah.
And at least 2 times you can see him corpsing when he's doing it. So I love that aspect of comedy movies I found is when the actors actually start laughing and they keep it in the film. Like there's one bit later on where Jason Lee bursts out laughing. And
yeah,
it's
I've said
Yeah,
that
Chris
since I
hates
half
that.
is it. Will Ferrell. No, I love that kind of thing when he breaks character. Like, he
yeah,
just starts
but it
pissing
still
stuff
works.
laughing.
He would just in real life, you maybe still just laugh. So it
Yeah.
doesn't break the fourth wall as such. Although they
No.
do a lot looking at the camera in
Yeah.
scenes, but yeah, Shannon Elizabeth introduced looking like the absolute movie star that she was in 2001.
Yep.
And it's
That
like,
1 year she had.
there's a lot of that going on, especially when we come to our cameos later on, where they could have thrown a dartboard and come up with better ones than Van Der Beek and Jason Biggs to play them. So
Well, slowly roll there, kids.
We'll get there.
okay, we'll get there. But I'm just saying, like, if they could have landed on young actors to play those roles, that would have been perfect. It's like Shannon Elizabeth, she's great, but this is kind of what she's famous for. She didn't become a big movie star beyond
It's
this.
like Eliza
American Pie.
Dushku, like they got her perfect because like she'd just be coming off the back of Buffy and stuff like that.
Mm.
And then after this, she actually went on to do like Wrong Turn, and then she had her own kind of career in Dollhouse and doing other things.
That's right, Dollhouse. Yeah.
But yeah, my high points are kind of mostly kind of Will Ferrell related now. And
Right, okay.
I've got one more before we get to Will Ferrell, and it's literally just after this. Sean William score.
yeah,
He
Right,
steals
okay.
for the little time he's actually in the film. He just steals
You
it for
loved
me.
him. Chris
It
was
was like
dying.
you've already mentioned it. It's like, what is your damage, little boy? Just and then every time, like he smiled with his braces, it's just really funny.
He's like a
Like
professional cameo actor.
Yeah, he is now.
Like
yeah.
Sean William Scott, he shows up in everybody else's films. He's in American Pie, which is what, maybe 5th or 6th top character in that. And after that, he's always in somebody else's film doing one scene here and there. But whenever his face pops up, it just makes me laugh. Whenever, oh God, look who it is. What is this going to be?
I love this little conversation with Jay. It's just like, you love animals, don't you? Yeah. But you fuck a sheep. Damn, I don't fuck a sheep, man. He's not one of us. It just launches him at the van.
Out the van. Wait, Hot American Summer style, which came out the same year as this. In fact, probably about 2 months later, if I remember rightly. There's a lot of it in the film, but my favorite Jay doing something cut into Silent Bob in the whole film is Jay. Oh yeah, we steal monkeys all the time, and it goes to Bob, and Bob's just like, just like no, we don't know. That was the best cut too of Jay getting him into trouble.
Right before the Will Ferrell stuff, where it's like my high points all kind of blurred to one, is this Click Commander bit. Is I'm going to bring it up later, but it's up there with best plan. It's fucking genius.
Yeah, that's planning ahead. Yeah. But with Jay, could you just because would the plan have been to Sean William Scott to do that?
Yes.
Right. Okay, but he'd be a bit more innocent. Like he would know what he was talking about.
Yeah,
or would he?
So.
I don't know if I didn't work with him. This must have been on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
even doing that thing, like Jay Corpse is there, he's like talking about slut. He's like,
yeah.
you hear him giggling and he's doing it.
Yeah.
But Will Ferrell, when he turns up, is just like, he's such a stupid character. He's like, and it takes a turn. You've got all this FBI. We know there's a diamond heist going on, but somehow this entire film turns out to be about a monkey. And then that whole scene with the diner and his son and the monkey scene is just, I just love that scene. It's brilliant.
Actually, talking about lines from things that we always quote, whether it be intentional or not. One scene that is a mixture of that and also me thinking it's every single film is the two of them crossing the car park to steal the monkey when they're like, there's nobody there, it's empty, and they're still like zigzagging serpentine runs, rolling on the ground and all that. It's like that might anytime a comedy film happens or someone has to go into a building, I think it's that scene, but it seems to be from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. But yeah,
and I also
Will
used the scene
Ferrell.
of the fast food always makes chicks fart, like a little bit, but yeah, it's funny. But no, Will Ferrell, when he comes in, like, because it starts to like dip a little bit in this bit, but yeah, when Will Ferrell comes back in, he's back up. He's bringing some power back to it again.
Really does. My favorite Will Ferrell bit I've got written down is him reading out the movie Poop Shoot message, where it's just like, and then we're going to take that shit, and then we'll eat that shit, and then make you eat that shit, blah, blah, blah. Hollywood, like that bit, just him just so casually soaked, having been in off the dam at that point. That's my favorite Will Ferrell bit. But yeah, I could not believe how much he's in the film and how much he's not like the villain. He's like the other main character at this point, basically. It's like we're following it. He's not a bad guy. All he wants is the monkey back. He's just trying to catch James and Bob to get the monkey. He's not trying to stop them doing anything like that. And it's just like we see so much of him for like the last half of the film. It's really, I couldn't believe it. And he's hilarious being Will Ferrell.
And then my kind of final bit is just everything that happens in Hollywood. It's bang, 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 bang. It's just like you think it's slowing down. Nope, they're on the screen set like out of nowhere. And then it's like you've got Will Ferrell running in shooting that guy in the chest, like big
movie, yeah.
And then you've got them just filming Blunt Man and Chronic, and like it's like they have had a star-studded action-packed cameo, and then they just go on top of like Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill doing Star Wars.
And doing that's the best bit. It's like, it's like George Lucas is going to sue somebody. They say, oh, it's Mark Hamill running with a lightsaber. It's just everything about it.
He hams it up big time. It's quality.
He's proper Joker.
He's Joker. He's Joker, but Luke Skywalker at the same time.
You've actually missed my favorite bit in Hollywood. Is Good Will Hunting 2 hunting season. It's just, and I've only ever seen Good Will Hunting once, and I've definitely saw this before I saw Good Will Hunting. But just, I mean, the whole thing is worth it just for
Affleck when he's doing his little huddle.
Oh, yeah. It was, before that though, what the hell's like? What the fuck's all that about?
Yeah,
it's really annoyed me.
Now the whole thing's worth it for the reveal of Good Will Hunting 2 hunting season when it is the shotgun. That was it.
Sound of them apples.
Yeah, applesauce, which is one you say all the time is applesauce, bitch. But yeah, Hollywood. It's like 3 films in one. This film, the first 40 minutes before the before Will Ferrell bit, there's the chase bit with Will Ferrell, and then there's them just basically parodying 2001 Hollywood with a running from scene to scene, to bit, and all that sort of stuff.
I must admit, I do every single time, no matter how many times I see it, is when Jane and Silent Bob run around the corner and go straight into that wall, and then fly up, and they're like, "Fucking Hollywood's so fake, man!" Every time it just gets me because it's just so well done.
It is. I'm out of written down high points. So if anyone's got anything else they want,
my ultimate one is just they've done it. It's how you should wrap up a film, and it's just with one of the greatest songs of all time, Morris Day and the Time.
I love the greatest songs of Morris Day and the Time. Yeah.
Yes.
Just before that, like, and it never gets old. Adults beating up kids.
Oh yeah, them flying around beating up everybody is hilarious.
That's like one of the few bits I remember. It's just them beating up little kids.
Even that's a banger. Double banger songs. Like how many people want to kick some ass? I put that on my back in the day. My iPod. And then,
iPod,
and then just Jungle Love. That was on my iPod. And then multiple burnt CDs.
Like he used to do like CDs for everybody. He would put on 2 songs on every CD. Doesn't matter who it was.
Yep.
And it would be Morris Day in the Time and how many people want to kick some ass.
Yep.
Or like the one right at the very start, he would just put them on whether you wanted it or not.
Yep. It was a banger of a song. But I don't know. It's just a great, I like it when you get everybody back together, and then I love a credits where you get like the face and it's like it tells you the actor's name.
Me too.
I love a credit like that.
I really
making character during it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And showing little bits of outtakes and all that sort of stuff's always good at the end. I really liked just bizarre. This is a small thing. Like this might go in Bruce's perfect movie tropes. I don't know.
Oh, he broke.
To build the whole, not after, before the credits or before the black and white credits. I'm still here.
Yeah,
is the last thing is a freeze frame on Jay and Silent Bob,
Oh, yeah.
looking just happy, content, and you can tell it's the actors are happy what's going on, how it's went. The characters are happy. It's the end of the film, and it's a nice sort of freeze frame on them just looking like content, happy, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I really like that. So I'll put that in my
And then you got
list that
post-credit
nobody's
scenes
keeping.
that Chris didn't even know there was existed.
I only saw it on my second viewing. So,
Marvel saved this for me because I had no idea it was there.
It
I was like,
is a
skipping
great
right along.
post-credit scene. This.
yeah. It's very missable as well in
Yes.
more ways than one. But yeah, I did not know it was there up until my second viewing this week throughout history, and I did not know that was there. I know. At point 3, the low points, or what we thought the worst bits, things, performances, gimmicks, bits and pieces from the film. I want to ask Andy to take us to the low points, so maybe just chime in. And I've not got hundreds, so I'll say that much. So,
I've got a
got
major
a
one.
couple.
I've got one major one that annoys me.
Let's lead off with the major one then.
Right. So you've got Missy, Chrissy, and Sissy, and whatever the other one is. But Kevin Smith's wife, Kevin Smith's wife takes me out of it. She doesn't fit into that group.
Yeah, because she's not even a little bit famous. Well, there's that.
Well, it's not that.
There's definitely that.
It's a bit harsh.
But also, well, compared, I would say, but she's definitely not famous.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And young and up and coming famous at the time. Like Ali Larter was in something quite big just before that. And I've never forgot what it was. Was she Final Destination just before that? That might be the first Final Destination. And then Elijah Dushku's No Way Out, Shannon Elizabeth's American Pie. And then there's just this random, let's be not too harsh about it, slightly older than the others one that's in the squad. And it's like, yeah, you're a bit. And then she doesn't have much to do, in fairness. She's not in it a lot, really.
To be fair, this is what I think. Like, what was Justice's role in the whole group? Because she could have just been, what was she called? Like Kevin Smith's wife's character.
Yeah, whichever Missy, I think she might have been. I don't know.
Because like they all hate Justice. Like every time they just slap her in the head and she just doesn't do anything.
It's like I'm the brains, things the broad, what the tech, what are you?
Yeah, you don't. She doesn't bring anything. She's not necessary to the group.
Well, she was because they needed 3 of them to go through the laser for some reason. Like, which brings me on quite nicely to one of my is the laser room.
Yep.
Everything about the laser room. It's like I roll. Oh my god! Another laser room in another movie and another parody.
Matrix parody.
Yeah, doubled up with Matrix and all that. Although walking across the car park is pretty good, in fairness. But yeah, and then hilarious backflips through it and all that, and it's like the fart. I'm just like, okay, this film is now bottomed out. Is the fart blowing the whole thing? But yeah, why does it need 3 of them to dance their way through lasers to pick up basically a handful of diamonds, while one of them goes and steals a different car where they just could have kept the van that they had. Like they had to blow up the van for some reason. They just could have abandoned Jay and Silent Bob there. And yeah, the whole actual heist itself seems to be overdone. And that laser room is just like, I don't need to see laser rooms anymore. Far done. No. But I did enjoy her running up the wall. I thought that was kind of cool. But,
no. The whole the heist thing just annoyed me. I didn't like it at all. Apart from seeing them in leather cat suits, but that was it.
That's pretty much probably why they shoehorned it in.
I think so, yeah. I've only really got one other low point, to be honest. It's not a film that has proper low point. There's a lot for me. There's a lot of bits I like, bits I remember, bits I find funny, and then there's a lot of just kind of, oh well, that's fine. Just kind of okay, that's not especially hilarious, but it's part of the film, and I'm entertained. When it comes to low points, it's really whether the sense of humor. We can do as we did in the Tenacious D movie. Anytime it's like ha 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 drugs, like that's never funny.
But see, this is like this is why I love Kevin Smith films. Like I am straight edge, never done any drugs, marijuana, or whatever. And I think the reason for it is because I love these films so much. I like to laugh at stoners.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't want to be in that position where I'm Jay and Silent Bob, but I like to watch what they're doing.
And you don't have to do drugs to enjoy it, despite the fact it's probably you're supposed to. You know, it's like, oh, you're supposed to get high and watch Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, I think that's I don't mind the drug stuff, especially in this one. The only bits I didn't like is when the Jersey local 510 or whatever it is, and Tracy Morgan is I don't know.
Tracy Morgan out of nowhere, yeah. So my only other low point I've got is the wildlife marshal letting them go at the diner. Now I know he does be like, oh my god, that's them, isn't it? Like, but the whole scene where he seems to be fooled by them, and it's just like this is too preposterous. This is not. He would know that's among. He's literally the wildlife guy. he would know that's the monkey. But why would he let anyone go? And like, why is he letting them go and then telling everybody else to stay? And it's just like
because
that.
it was a gay fiasco back in the day. This would have been a proper international incident. That's the
They
problem.
wouldn't have to deal with the politics.
Yes.
So, yeah, I guess. Him being like, oh, that's them, isn't it? And going after them. And then we go into the fugitive, and that's funny. But for me, him being fooled for 5 minutes, it wasn't funny. And it's like, it's the only time the whole thing that Will Ferrell's character didn't make me laugh was.
I didn't enjoy the whole Will Ferrell character as much as you did.
Okay.
I mean, I like him. He's what he says is funny, but the character is shit.
No, I like.
I quite like the character.
I like how he's a failed FBI, and then he becomes an FBI guy then and stuff.
Why did he have a patch over his badge?
I found that funny though. Just like,
yeah, that's funny. It's like, why? And it's always open. Like, you always leave it open. It's like, well, why just keep it open? Like, it's like I like that little bit was funny. And his story at the end, him kind of getting into the FBI because he caught the jewel thieves, is quite a nice kind of tie up for him at the end. But yeah, in terms of low points, I don't really have anything else. Nothing else is jumping out as things I didn't like. I would like didn't like about the movie.
Good Will Hunting 2 was dog shit. I could have done without that.
No, I love that.
What? Oh, no, that was a good for them to burst in a movie set in Hollywood and for it to be genuinely, legitimately the two biggest movie stars they could like possible. Matt Damon would be huge in that time, and Affleck was Affleck, but it's
I just that whole scene where it's like they talk about how you have to do the safe movie and then you have to do the
that stuff as well.
Like, and then just to parody one of their great, like what they're famous for, Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, Oscar winners because of that film, and there's the sequel that'll never exist is in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back with the other actor guy from it as well. The guy playing who's also doing like a really funny face when he was doing his warm ups and all that. No, I think I am for once on this podcast, Chris. You are wrong in your opinion.
I take that.
I don't think he likes Good Will Hunting. That's his issue.
I've never said.
So.
I'm not saying I like it. I'm not saying I like Good Will Hunting. It's all right.
It's a long film and it's all about math, but.
I always find like Matt Damon in these films, like the Askew films, he's always so verbal. I don't know whether that's what he's always like, but he's always just rattling off this big, massive spiel about nothing.
Well, he's like that in Ocean's 11 movies as well, or the Ocean's movies as well. He's kind of like that. I really liked him in Dogma. I think Matt Damon's really good Dogma and really enjoyable in that. But yeah. Anyone come up with anything else they didn't like? Any of the low points? It's tough.
I would just say Kevin Smith's wife is the weak point in this film.
The heist's a bit iffy. Yeah, I guess that's the.
But then we got a monkey.
And orangutan. On a point 4 then, the stats.
Here we go.
I've kept all of the ones that successfully made it through the pointies. All the quotas somehow got ticked last season, so they're all still there. 71 shits. That's a lot of shits. It's not often that many shits. F-bombs. F-bombs. There's 3 times as many and more. I counted 216, 23 of those in the first 2 minutes. 216. The internet says 248. Now, I absolutely believe that I may have missed 30 of them. I believe that much. However, I thought we're on record pace here, and we were definitely on record pace. It is still, on my count, 70, or the internet's count 40 behind The Big Lebowski, which is 285. Still outdoes it with F-bombs.
Oh, I thought this would actually packed it.
And I looked through the entire history of the podcast, and even every other Kevin Smith film had fewer F-bombs than this did. And everything still pales in comparison to The Big Lebowski, which I couldn't believe. The Big Lebowski was so far ahead. That might never be reached, that swear word. I think we might have to go South Park to get near it. I think it might be the only way we can get near it. Explosions, 7. It was all the van at the heist, basically, was the 7 explosions. Deaths, 1. I'm not counting Good Will Hunting 2 hunting season because it was obviously a film set. But Mubi, the guy who was playing Mubi, he was shot dead by the marshal. Like that is done. I don't know how he's made it into the FBI after killing a guy, but yes, he is. Quotas, speaking of Mubi, he's a cow, so we get Mubi. Goats, I don't think there were any. I don't remember anything goaty. I don't remember any goats. Dead animal, are we counting Mubi as being a dead animal? Yeah, so him. Pedos, I think we're clear. There was not much jokes.
The jokers and
from Ben Affleck's trailer. Yeah. Aha! But I wasn't with the Booker today.
I found that funny, that one.
That was good. Setting up that gag to come back. Some pedos were all right. Tom Cruise, Tackleberry, Sarah Connor trifecta. I think we're clear. Because technically Will Ferrell gets his girl at the end, doesn't he? Catches them. But But he wasn't looking for them. He was looking for the orangutan. But yeah, I was positive Jay and Silent Bob were going to be on a motorbike at some point because Jay gets the girl at the end.
He was on a
No.
bicycle.
Bicycle,
He
but not.
was, but that's it. So I was scared that I'd missed it. But I'm like, I can't find it. I can't find them being on a motorbike. So I think we're somehow made it through. Did they say the thing? Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
No.
They didn't. Even at the end, I thought they might have done, unless I completely didn't hear it. But maybe walking out the cinema, one of the characters said it, but it really didn't flash in my mind. But did they say the thing? Goodwill Hunting.
Yes.
Yes.
They said it twice, but they're a proper. That's not good. Will Hunting.
Yes.
Like a proper saying of the thing, and I'm like, oh, they said the thing, but not the right thing. But never said the thing. So twice Goodwill Hunting was said in the film, which is good. But one of them was a proper saying of the thing. Chris, any stats from you?
Yeah, well, there's obviously one nut shot from Cock Knocker.
Well,
Okay.
Technically
as
a
well.
technically a cock knock.
Yeah.
But,
cock knock.
I might have just caught that a cock knock from now on.
yeah, we got the cock knock. Cock knocks, right? I'll put that in my notes.
I counted 5 wall breaks. Right.
Oh.
There's the one behind you with the whole looking at the camera, and then there's the
Mhm.
Diamond House afterwards. The cops are saying like, "Oh, sounds like a plot of a bad movie."
Mm-hmm.
Look at the screen, and then there's Ben and Matt and the Goodwill Hunting. So you've got to do the shit before the good and all that kind of thing.
Got to do the one for your friends, yeah.
And then when Jay was just like, "You're really gonna blow me, weren't you?" And Bob goes, and he
Yeah.
goes, "Yeah, it was." Looks at the camera, and then Cock Knocker, when he gets his hands chopped off, he looks at the camera going, "Not again."
That's 5 then.
So,
I was sure
what I
you were
said.
going to end. You did say 5 because I was
Oh,
sure
yeah.
he was going to end with Cockknocker coming through the wall. I thought it was going to be the
Yeah.
last one. Him breaking that wall down was going to be the last. So
Yeah.
6, technically 6.
Six.
Okay, I'll take 6.
That you, Chris? That your
I
stat?
don't know what else to count.
Well, put it this way: I've counted how many movie references there are, kind of. So we can get onto that. So we don't have to worry about counting it because that's the other thing. How many different films are parodied or mentioned in the film? Might be what it is.
There's far too many for me to count.
Oh well, just wait. Andy, do you have a fun fact with them? I don't have a fun fact. I forgot to do the
Fun
fact.
fact is Mark Hamill was in this film actually twice because he's the voice of Scooby-Doo.
Is he?
Yes.
I did not know that.
He is Scooby-Doo's voice in the
Very good.
dream sequence thing.
Thought it was the usual guy does his voice. It was quite a good likeness.
Matthew Lillard now.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's Shaggy. He's Shaggy.
Shaggy.
Isn't he? Obviously, stupid. Point 5 is the 10-point podcast quiz. Andy is still the quiz master, and well, we won't discuss who the quiz champion is. It's controversial, but it might be Chris.
Well, speaking of Shea controversy, this could be hard as fuck because I have a list, just like Jay and Silent Bob do. So they compile the list and they were going to go around and kick everybody's ass. So
Okay.
I have a list of 10,000 general knowledge questions.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay. So to make it
It's an hour and a half, never show.
so to make it 100% fair and random, because Chris always moans,
He does, yeah.
Chris, I want you to pick a page between 1 and 200.
15.
15, page 15, right? Right. So this is the quiz we're on.
Mhm.
Right. Page 15. So now this quiz, it's going to be 10 questions, 5 questions each. I'm probably not going to be able to pronounce half of these things because I've never read it because it's a random mysterious page. I just see there's a lot of things you probably can't see, but there's millions of questions.
Okay.
And all you have to do is you pick your own fate. You pick a number and read the question.
The question. Okay.
They're all general knowledge. These could be random. They could be
Right. So
I don't know.
how many numbers are we picking between? Sorry.
So you've picking this one. So Chris has picked page 14. So this is quiz number 7, and it's
Mhm.
between 1 and 100.
100. Right.
He's
We
already
get
fucking
5
over. I
each.
said page 15.
Hey?
He's already
No, but it's
fucking
quiz-
over. I said page
Yeah,
15.
but quiz
Aye, but
7
it's-
could be on page
fif-
15.
Aye,
Right.
15 is
Oh,
question
okay,
51 down.
I'll
So
allow it.
I've went
I'll
up
allow
to
it.
question 1, which is on page 14 and goes into 15.
Okay.
Ah.
Apologies. I'll take it back.
So,
Right, so-
Chris, since you're thinking, you can pick a number between 1 and 100, and I will read the question. Well, attempt to read the question.
77.
All right, 77. Question number 1 for Chris. We're off to a fucking banger of a start.
Oh God.
All right. Dendrologist worship what? I'll spell it to you. Dendrologists worship what? Dendrologists.
Aliens.
You're going for aliens. I'll pass it over to you, Bruce.
Flowers?
Oh, you're close. It was trees. It was trees.
Oh, that's very close.
It was
Very
trees,
close.
but no points, right, Bruce?
Oh, if I said plants, would you have given it to me then?
Probably.
Nah, probably not. Right.
Right. So just remember what you already picked. So between 1 and 100, not 77.
1.
You're going for right for number 1. Number 1.
Start with the easiest one. Surely the
Right.
easiest questions first.
Boob Day, and that is
Okay.
That is BOOB. Day in Spain is what day in Britain?
Well, the obvious gag is, since this is our Valentine's Day episode, by the way, so nice pick for Valentine's Day, the love story between Jason Mewes and Sharon Elizabeth. The obvious gag is Valentine's Day, but I'm not gonna go that. Boob Day. Is that translated or is that in Spanish? Like, is it the word boob in Spanish or is it the word?
It just says Boob Day in Spain is what day in Britain. That's all I've got. I wasn't going to go and invent 10,000 questions here.
I wonder. I'm going to go with, it's probably an obvious answer, but I'm going to go with, is it like the summer solstice? I'll go with that.
No, Chris.
March 14th.
Any particular reason, Chris?
It's picking a random date.
It was April Fool's Day.
That's why it's obvious. Damn, I knew there was like an obvious one.
Right, Chris, between 1 and 100.
50. Wait a minute.
50. Why did you pick the worst fucking words? Right. All right, I got it. What food was invented in a sanatorium in 1890?
I know this.
Actually,
I've heard of this.
now I've read the answer. I 100% know this.
I've heard of this.
I would say porridge.
It's not porridge.
Oh, that's annoying. I cannot place it. Spaghetti?
It's not spaghetti. Chris was closest. It was Kellogg's cornflakes.
Cornflakes. That's what it is. That's right. Cornflakes.
Bruce, next.
100.
Oh, he's going for the last one.
Easiest ones at the end.
Oh, you got another British question.
Good.
What was Britain's first colony, which was then later annexed in 1583?
Colony. 1583. My dad's a history teacher, so he'll probably be shouting at me. Britain's first colony that was annexed.
It was annexed in 1583.
India?
Not India.
I just want to say Australia.
It was Newfoundland.
Oh, I was going to say Canada as well. Damn.
Is that what Canada was? I don't know.
It's in Canada.
I didn't react to that.
You could have said India. That's a good idea.
If I'd said Canada and you're like, no, it's not. It's this. It's a part of Canada, I guess.
Right, okay,
Newfoundland.
There we go.
I think is how you say it.
Chris, next.
15.
15. There we go. Oh, here we go. Anthony Daniels played who in which series of films?
C-3PO.
Yeah, it is.
Wait, is it both parts? Because who played who in which series was the?
Anthony Daniels played who in the series of films?
So it's C-3PO in which series, Chris?
The Star Wars films.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
Right, Bruce.
Don't try and trip me up, Bruce.
I mean, the question was, he played who in which series of films? It's like,
okay.
2.
Going for number 2.
Easiest ones at the start.
What crime did Teresa Vaughan commit 62 times in 5 years?
Crime.
Which
It needs to be interesting for it to be a quiz question. So which crime?
If it helps, I can give you, they were tried in 1922.
Right.
But what crime? What was the crime?
62 times in how many years?
5 years. 52
Horse
times.
theft.
Horse theft? Nope, Chris.
I want to say prostitution.
Bigamy.
Bigamy. All right, okay.
Chris, thank you for
play.
Oh, yeah, I've got to pick a number, don't I?
I'm up against it here.
Oh, fucking unpacking them. 27.
27. All right. The detours changed to the high numbers when. Eh? The
Are
detours
you looking at the
changed-
answers?
the detours changed to the high numbers. Then what name?
J.
The day. All right, I'll read it. The detours changed to the high numbers, comma. Then what name, comma?
The
Question mark.
Runaways.
No.
So it's like the band The
Right.
Detours, they
Yes.
changed their name to The High Numbers and then
Yes.
to presumably a famous one.
Yes.
I'm going to guess the Rolling Stones.
It's not the Rolling Stones.
Leonard Skinner.
It was the Who.
Oh, the other one. God damn it.
Do we have time for? Is it one more each?
It's my final question, and Chris
Right,
is
go
winning
for it.
1-0.
All right, you need this one.
I do. I'm going to go 85. I don't know what Chris has picked, I'll be honest. So
85. We've not done it. Eiffel designed the Eiffel Tower. What was his first name?
65.
Think of a French name.
I've got two French names in mind. Can I get a small hint? Is it hyphenated or is it just a name? Like,
Just
is
a
it-
name?
It's not like Chris Bruce, it's Chris or Bruce, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's just a name, one word.
so I've got two. Which one am I going to go for?
What one are you going for?
I'm going to go for Jean.
Oh, that's what I had in my head.
Right, you'd have both been wrong because it's Gustave.
Oh, it was not Gustav. Pierre was my other one I was going to go for.
Absolute domination for me once again.
Gustave Eiffel. There you go.
I got
So
no questions right. Chris dominated.
Chris knows his general knowledge and
He
defeat the list. I'm sure that list of 10,000 quiz questions would come back.
handed the one film question came out
I
that
know.
Chris got right on this film podcast. Anyway, Chris won. I cannot argue. I lost that quiz fair and square. Point 6. Movies within
Here
movies.
you go.
We've got a lot to discuss within this point this week. Chris,
There's
the
a
10
lot.
Point
I've changed-
podcast.
Like, I was going to say, I've changed it slightly because I've just gone for, what's the word? Hall of Fame nominees because a lot of them are coming back over and over again. So
I have, as part of my notes in this, many of Kevin Smith's friends' third and fourth appearances on the podcast is what I've got. So
I don't. I mean, right. Well, I'll start off easy. So Greg Bronson, who was the bus passenger, was in Starship Troopers as a trooper, Gone in 60 Seconds as a paramedic, Minority Report as an upscale party guest. Matt Damon. This is his third
Matt
film.
Damon, third film, Hall of Fame eligible. What was he been in
Yep.
before?
Dogma as Loki and Interstellar as Man.
Yeah,
Yep.
so two of them are really not really. He's only really been in Dogma because he's kind
Yeah.
of in Interstellar and not really in this. But yeah, Matt Damon.
So Walter Flanagan, who I'm assuming is a friend,
Yep.
was in Clerks as various people, Dogma as a protester, and in Clerks 2 as the Pack of Smokes guy.
Yep.
Scott Mosier, who I think is also a friend.
Yep.
He's the producer. He's like his main
Yeah.
conspirator. I don't know what the right word is.
Was also Clerks, Dogma, and Clerks 2.
I'm sure he's the head guy in Clerks.
Is he not Snowball?
No.
Scott Mosier. Is he not the
Oh
one?
yeah,
that's,
he
like,
is. He is
doing
Snowball.
that at the
Aye,
end.
aye.
And he's the guy getting him into place for
Aye.
the Good Will Hunting 2
Aye.
because he's the producer. He's like he probably does that as his actual job.
One of my favorite guys who is going to come up again because he's on my list. Didrik Bader, the security guard who was
couldn't place
Lawrence.
him.
Aye.
He's in a
Couldn't place
film
him.
I've been wanting to pick for ages. Office Space as Lawrence and
Lawrence.
Napoleon Dynamite as Rex.
Rex Glado.
Rex Glado, that's it.
Yes,
Um,
Derek Bader. I think he might be. I think we could say he's like a podcast favorite. Dietrich Bader. I think he's.
Wow. I fucking love him. I
Oh,
think he's
the Liberty
hilarious.
Party.
Yeah, oh, what a lovely tea party. Yeah, I was like, where did I know him from? Oh my god, he's always hilarious. Whatever he's in, Dietrich Bader.
Will Ferrell, Will and Holly. He was in Old School as Frank, Elf, Buddy the Elf, and Semi Pro as Jackie Moon.
And he was a losing
He's
Hall of Fame nominee last season, and I think this might put him right back in the running again, since Andy and I are very high on his performance. in this
He's
film.
got some tough competition with the next one. Sean William Scott, who is only no Evolution. He wasn't a cameo. Brent, he was in this. In Evolution, he was Wayne. And Old School, he was Peppers. He was
One
the
of my
taser
all-time
guy.
favorite one scenes from an actor.
Oh,
is,
just took it in the neck.
you got a full dart in your neck. Yes.
Previous winner, Carrie Fisher, who I'll just take off. I won't mention her ever again.
Hall of Famer Carrie Fisher.
Yep. She's back again doing
Uh,
what she does best.
Star Wars: New Hope is Leia. Blues Brothers is a mystery woman. The Burbs, who I always forget, is Carol
Yeah.
Peterson. And When Harry Met Sally, which I forgot we
That's
did.
right.
Yep,
That's
she's a
right.
friend.
Yeah. Hall of
Uh,
Fame. She did 3 in a season. That's why, wasn't it? Was it Harry
Yeah.
Met Sally,
Yeah.
Star Wars, and maybe Blues Brothers was all the
I
same
think it
season?
was.
The Affleck, who was as
Tom.
Holden in himself, was Dogma as Bartleby, Clerks 2 as Gawking Guy, and Gone Girl
Just
was
a
Nick
guy.
Dunn.
And Gone Girl, yeah. Ben Affleck, also Hall of Fame potential.
Fun fact.
Right. He's going to get in the Hall of Fame when he does Phantoms, I'm telling you. Somebody picks
That's
Phantoms.
right, okay.
Well, it won't be me. A fun fact: he mentions some of these films in the reboot.
Yes.
So,
Right, okay.
Jason Lee as Brody's Banky, Dogma, Azrael, and Clocks 2 as Lance Dowds. Ernest O'Donnell, who I think must be another friend, was a co-op. In Clerks, he was a trainer, and Dogma, he was a reporter. And your usual Brian O'Halloran, Jeff Anderson, who played the same characters.
Hall
in
of
both
Famer
films.
Jeff Anderson,
Yeah.
I think you'll find.
Yes,
Hall
he
of
Need
is.
to
Famer.
remember that.
Salsa Shark.
And they played different people in Dogma, but Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith, who have played the same characters through everything.
Always been the same ones they have.
So I need to remember. I forgot his name now.
Jeff Anderson.
Jeff Anderson.
Jeff Anderson.
The one you've missed, who's not been in 3 films, but I think he's a significant appearance that I needed to mention. In this film, he played the smoking man from the X-Files in this film. But William B. Davis, who's most famous for being the smoking man in the X-Files, he was in Look Who's Talking as a drug doctor or something like that. So he's actually the second time that William B. Davis has been on the podcast. I was like, oh my God, they got the actual guy from the X-Files that turned out we've done it before. So yeah, it's really good. I've no others other than that, Chris, because we're trying to scale back the universe since now we're at the point where everybody...
It's getting too big, the multiverse.
Yes, and I keep picking these films with we've got so much to talk about.
The same cast, yeah. Have you recast us into the film, Chris?
I did, quite simply. I put Andy as Jay, me as Silent Bob, and you as Brody.
Okay, I'll take Brody. Brody's not too bad. At one point, I was going to do
Banky,
it, and I was going
since you've got a hat on.
I do have the hat on. Maybe I'm more banky. I was going to do... What way was it going to be? I was Jay, Andy Silent Bob, and Chris, you were Suzanne, the orangutan. That's what I was going to do at one stage. But
Andy's just Jay. Like, he just can't stop the filter.
No, but he doesn't talk as much as Jay. Andy's got an element of silentness as well.
On this, he's silent, but in the real world, he's fucking Jay. Down to a
depends,
tease.
depends what I'm up to. A characteristics of both.
Exactly, he does.
Like
He's
Cartman.
both of them.
Yeah, Cartman is my one and only character.
He might talk too much as well. Right, I'm going to have some water. Can you kill 10 seconds?
I don't know. What would you cast as Andy?
Would definitely be the cheap knockoffs of Jason Biggs and Vanderbeek.
Oh, them
There you go. There you go. Perfect. Movies this film, Jane Silent Bob Strikes Back,
This is why
parodies or references. Please don't ask me what they all are. You can Google them if you can't find them. You can't remember. Clash of the Titans, Planet of the Apes, Scooby-Doo, Charlie's Angels, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, The Crying Game, The Piano, Magnolia, Armageddon, X-Men, Blade, She's All That, Star Wars: A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, The Return of the Jedi, The Phantom Menace, Moonraker, The Blues Brothers, E.T., Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Purple Rain, Batman, Batman and Robin, The Fugitive, The X-Files, The Flintstones, Scream, Good Will Hunting, The Matrix, Entrapment, Reservoir Dogs, Daredevil, Wayne's World 2, American Pie, Dawson's Creek, Loser, Boys and Girls, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Winnie the Pooh, The Brady Bunch, Fat Albert, The Color Purple, Sesame Street, Titanic, House Party 2, House Party 3, Serpico, Forces of Nature, The Talented Mr. Ripley, Reindeer Games, The Legend of Bagger Vance, All the Pretty Horses, Land of the Lost, Home Alone, King Kong, Smokey and the Bandit, Animal House, Mork and Mindy, Shaft, and Phantoms.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to... I was waiting for you. I was like, you missed one. Phantoms like a mole rat.
And every Kevin Smith film, ever, basically, as well. Yes, all of those and others. They're ones that I'm like, I heard it, I noticed it, or when I read it off a list, I remember
Was
it.
that Armageddon was the only one? Is that because of Moonraper and Affleck
No,
on that.
no.
When I
Affleck
saw that
mentions
billboard,
it.
I couldn't stop laughing at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
movie.
Affleck mentioned it. I think it's maybe should be at the end. I think he mentioned it as Affleck rather than being at the beginning when he was holding. I think, but yeah, I tried to kind of keep it in order when I was adding ones back in again. But yeah, I don't know. House Party 1, 2, and 3 all existed. I thought there was a joke in there somewhere. But yeah, there's some TV shows in there like Dawson's Creek and what was the other one, Mork and Mindy and all that. But yeah, Hunt and it like maybe half as much again are all reference. But one film that is not referenced, The Wizard of Oz. Somehow there is not one reference to The Wizard of Oz in this whatsoever. I don't know how that happened, but not there. Because I imagine Kevin Smith in a stoned state at some point or another must have watched The Wizard of Oz and got some influence off of it.
Well, he wasn't on drugs at the time.
Good point, yeah. Could this film have come out in 1995? It would be after Clerks. So technically, but
they kind of Mallrats.
Yeah, they kind of need the next 5 years of Kevin Smith films and also Hollywood to exist.
Yeah.
Like they needed Ben Affleck to go and be famous and all that sort of stuff. Like they need all that to this film to work. So it kind of could, but kind of probably couldn't. Dead Man Walking. I never felt like anyone was ever a dead man walking in this film. The only one that gets killed is Mooby. But yeah, I never thought when Will Ferrell fell off the dam, I thought maybe he was a goner. I wouldn't go back into it again. But no, there was never a dead man walking, I don't think. Who's in the wrong movie, though? Someone we've not really mentioned so far for me, Chris Rock. Chris made reference to the poster, and it's like Will Ferrell's off at the side. Well, Chris Rock is nearer the front on the other side, I think. And it's like, it looks like Chris Rock is a main guy, probably coming off the back of Dogma, where he is a main guy. And he's in one scene. And it's like,
great scene, no.
It's great.
I love white racism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, calling everybody crackers, and then
I thought that was funny. It was like, "There's no boogers in it, sir." Fine,
yeah, Jeannie Kennedy when he's walking in, it's like, "You spit in this. Taste the boogers." I love it. It just works so well.
I did have at one point. I had him as most underused Chris Rock, but then I think any more of that character, and it's too much.
Yeah,
like he is 150% Chris Rock for the 5 minutes that he's in this film, and it's like it's really too much. Movie tropes that need to die. I've got expletive deleted laser rooms is what I've got.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've got.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever done well. Like I think I'm going to agree with you on that one. Laser rooms,
and it's all parodying the film Entrapment.
Yes,
and it's like I bet it's the least watched of all the films that like no one watches Entrapment anymore. What was it? Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones like 2 years before.
That was a creepy partnership. That anyway. My specifically was one little spray. Just covers the entire room with fog, and you can see everything.
I did turn to Chris though when we were watching and going, "Oh, no, my house."
But yeah, laser rooms. I've had enough of them. Point 7. That one thing, the one thing that this film has that makes it this film. Andy, what's your one thing?
Cock knocker. It is just like it's the one thing that stands out to all Kevin Smith films. It is unique. Cockknocker doesn't really make an appearance in any other film. And
you're right,
yeah. It's just always, this is the film with Cockknocker in it to me.
I thought you might come with props for this one. Have you got a Cockknocker prop one way or another? I feel you've definitely got Jane Silent Bob props.
I've got a Cockknocker figurine.
There you go. I thought someone like that might have made an appearance. Chris, what's your one thing?
The only thing I actually remembered from what past viewing was them beating the shit out of the kids.
Right, yeah. Okay,
I knew that was coming, so that's the one thing I remember from it.
For me, it's just this is the Jane Silent Bob movie, but they've gone and made another one, which I've not seen yet. But for me, this is the one about them. They're in everybody else's, but then this is their one. But yeah, now they've made another one, which I mean, it still stands. Still seen it, I guess. Point 8, nominations for the 10 Point Podcast Awards at the end of the season. Terminator took home the most awards, and including Best Film at the last ones. Saw did very well. It won the second most awards. Out of 20 films, 15 won a pointy last season. So pretty good. I thought it was a good spread. But this season, we start fresh. Chris, nominate some things and we'll tell you when you're right and wrong.
So I put Best Actor Jason Mewes. For somebody to be off his tits that much and still pulling out a performance, he's got to be some actor.
Yeah,
I've gone for him. Like he is, I'll always say he's just playing himself, but he does it pretty well. I've got my best acting.
My most underused was Jeff Anderson.
You could be right. In fact, yes, you're right, because we love him and he's 10 Point Podcast Hall of Famer, and you're right. Jeff
But
Anderson.
but this was the film where I think they all fell out anyway, and they just got him in, and then he didn't do anything for ages afterwards.
Still stands.
I don't care about their fucking lives. He's not in this film enough.
Professional.
My best badass, I put Suzanne the orangutan.
I've got Justice, Missy, Sissy, and Chrissy. I've got.
They were pretty good badasses.
They were quite badass. If you wanted to narrow it down to one, it's whichever one Eliza Dushku was. Yes. She was the most badass.
I think
so.
But
I think the squad.
I mean, he basically banged that pizza guy. Gave everybody a little bit.
That's right. Yeah.
It's actually bang on. That was just like swinging that, and he was like, "Here, have it in the house."
She was all like growling and stuff and excited about it.
He was running upstairs to go and see her.
Yeah.
Shoot off my fucking head. He's just running away.
Chrissy's young innocent mind.
No, he was going
pizza.
up.
She wanted a bit of Sicilian sausage.
What was that? She wanted some thick Sicilian, a thick Sicilian or something like that.
That's blew my fucking mind. I thought he just ran away.
No, he was heading up.
Oh, the more you know. Okay, so John Connor's ginger pal award Suzanne, Dave.
Is she the unsung hero? I mean, she does come in clutch a couple of times, doesn't she, Suzanne? I couldn't come up with someone else. So, yeah. John Connor's ginger pal, if you've not heard the point, he's...
Orangutans are literally ginger, so...
Exactly,
yeah, no, it's unsung hero.
Unsung hero, because John Connor's ginger pal saved humanity in Terminator 2. So, the John Connor's ginger pal award, maybe Suzanne the ginger orangutan, maybe.
Yeah, could be. I would say there's somebody else better, I don't think.
No one jumps out, no.
So, it's staying there for now, anyway. So, best team, Jane, Silent Bob, and Suzanne.
I had Jane, Silent Bob. They're very successful. I was going to put Missy, Sissy, Chrissy and all that, but then no, they're not. They kind of fall apart. Yeah,
Jane, Silent Bob. They set out with a plan. They went to go and stop that movie. Technically, they did stop it, but then they made it and got a bunch of money, so they did what they needed to do.
And then they had to go and beat everybody up.
And then
we're going to beat everybody up who's making fun of us on the internet.
They fixed their initial problem, which was flagging them off. So yes, it was a successful plan.
My biggest bailing was whatever one Eliza Dushku was. I want to say Sissy.
I went Banky for not paying them out, just going and making the movie and not giving them in it.
I'll take that.
Banky.
That's a dick move.
That.
Yeah.
Okay. Best villain, Cockknocker.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because he actually is like when you think about it. On my second viewing, I was like, "Why is Mark Hamill fighting them?" Like at one point, he does say "cut," but it's like he does a lot of actual. Like he must actually cockknock Jay.
Yes.
And I only noticed in like second viewing, it seems like, "Will you call off Van de Beek?"
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, he actually is a villain because he is trying to attack them for some reason.
Best death, I put Bibby, obviously, because
it has to be. It's funny. It's meant to be a warning shot.
Best inanimate object was the bong saber.
I guess so.
Pretty good, yes.
I'll reluctantly put the bong saber in. I think. Yeah.
Best plan is
the double though, where you can take a hit or whatever they call it.
Yeah. The best plan was the diamond house. It was only foiled by a fart.
I think getting a patsy to steal a monkey so you can steal diamonds next door is a good plan.
I'll include the whole thing because that was their plan. Because Brett was going to be a patsy, so they just used them.
Yeah, because he just stole the monkey, and then I still don't know why three of them are trying to steal the diamonds when just Elijah Dushku did it. But
it's a good plan and a flawed plan, so it's going to probably come into worst plan as well at the same time.
I don't have a worst plan nominee, so it might do. Yeah, so there you go. Andy's nominated.
Yeah, the three of them trying to get over the laser grid is probably the worst plan.
You're right. It's a bad aspect. Yeah.
All three of them are going to carry the fucking diamonds back.
It must be.
This didn't make any sense.
Because like even throwing the sound thing.
Yeah, like, they need to.
Why? Okay, it's both. It has to be both. I'm sorry.
Best weapon is the bong saber.
Right. Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Best special effects. Oh, fuck it. Never mind that one.
No.
Worst special effects was the mirror getting thrown over the laser grid.
Wasn't a mirror? Well, it was a mirror. It was supposed to be a mirror. It's like a sound
yes,
thing.
That thing. I thought it was like a
powder
mirror
thing.
Is it worse than Jane Silent Bob ETing it? Is that
was
worse than that? Yeah, because that's meant to be funny, whereas that's probably meant to look cool. The laser. So yeah, probably right.
Okay, are we going to agree on this one? Best cameo, Mark Hamill.
I've got Matt Damon.
Oh, see, I've went sideways now. If I had to agree with somebody, it would be Mark Hamill.
Right.
Because I didn't expect him because he's not done any other Kevin Smith film. However, the one that got me is Ghostface.
Right. Okay.
I didn't see that coming. Like, I remember watching this film first, and then was it Scream 3 or whatever it is when they're on the Miramax set. For me, it's Ghostface.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
I think we have
well,
to
such
just call
can't
it a
agree.
draw. I
Yeah.
think. I think.
there's
Yeah.
a
nobody.
few cameo risks there.
There's 100, so it's like
My most unexpected was Alanis Morissette. I didn't see
Danny
her
John
coming, but I
Jules.
did.
Now I changed my mind 3 times here. Danny John Jules, Scooby Doo. I didn't expect Scooby Doo to be in it.
Yeah.
Then John Stewart.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be in it. And I've got Wes Craven, which
Wes
goes
Craven's a
to
good one, yeah.
goes to Ghostface. I did not expect him. Any?
I would say Wes Craven because technically Ghostface
Okay.
was my favorite cameo. So
Yeah, we'll go Wes Craven then.
Best fight was Jay versus Cocklocker.
it was a good
I've
fight,
done away with
yeah.
best fight.
All right, I'll give it to that then. Blah, blah, blah. Best line is Mark Hamill's "Don't fuck with a Jedi Master, son."
That's the top
It's
line on IMDb.
close
Right, is it?
behind "What's your malfunction, little boy?"
I use that all
It's
the
one
time.
of them two.
Yeah, I
There's
do that
so
all the time.
many.
Yeah.
There's so many funny. Like that's
unbelievable
what's
best fight.
the high points of lines in this.
Yeah.
Like any James Silent Bob movie is gonna suck balls because they do in fact suck balls. That's the one that cracked me.
And like I said, even personal, it's such a small line, but yeah, you want to take a shit or do a salad. It's just
Yeah, like
everything's-
it's tough for one line. But yeah, IMDb says
Too many.
that the Jedi Master one is the
I
popular
like it.
one
Just Mark
apparently.
Hamill swear. It's always going to be good.
Yeah. Maybe go with that then.
Okay, best animal Suzanne.
Yeah.
Uh,
The most dangerous animal,
Yes.
Suzanne there.
Oh, I haven't put it down, but he's had it. Worst cop was Will Ferrell. I thought he was.
I've done away with the
absolutely
cops. I've done away with them.
useless. Boom, gone. Well, I'm doing that. Best song or soundtrack was Steppenwolf, Magic Carpet.
No, I've got
It was-
that. I've got that, and I had.
I'm more
oh,
at the time. I'm passionate.
I
Nope.
knew the whole thing was a setup for Andy trying to be Jungle Love by Morris Day in the time.
Yep.
I had Magic Carpet Ride by Steppenwolf, which I didn't know was by them. That's now been added to my list to listen to. But
Yeah, I
Bad
saw that
Medicine, Bad Medicine,
It's a great
Bon
series.
Jovi when Sharon Elizabeth
Yeah.
comes in straight after it.
I thought we had already done that somewhere. It's one of those songs that as soon as like a hot girl walks through the door, that's always played.
I think it's
Yeah,
because of this film,
yeah.
though. I think, yeah, and because it's obviously it's a playoff for Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and it's not that song in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Mhm.
Are you passionate to be Morris Day in the time, Andy? 'Cause if you
Yes.
are, I'm willing to go with you because I like that at the end. I
It's a
like
banger
that.
song,
So
yeah.
yeah, I basically set up that you would pick that, but I like Magic. I'm with Chris, but Andy, you're right.
It's a
It's
good
Morris Day in the
soundtrack.
time,
It's a good soundtrack.
and they recorded it like for the film, like it's an actual new recording, and it sounds great. So it's
Okay. Best costume or outfit is the leather burglary suits.
it is.
Burglary
I've
suits?
kind
Say
of done away
Chris?
with costumes.
The burglar
I think.
leather suits.
Scottish people can't say the word burglary.
Purple
The
burglar
leather pants.
alarm. That's the one. Purple burglar alarm.
Purple burglar.
I've done away with costumes. You're correct,
Yeah.
I think, but we've done away with them.
No, we're adding them in.
Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Best name I thought was when Jay called Sam Bob tons of fun.
Tons of fun. Sean calls me that
I
all
like
the
him.
time.
Lunchbox was cracked me
Lunchbox.
up. Whatever he
Yeah.
called him, Lunchbox was funny. But I've got the actual best character name. I'm sorry. It's
Okay.
Marshall, Will, and Holly. And you might think, why is that? It's because they are the 3 main characters in the film Land of the Lost. Are Marshall,
Ah.
Will, and Holly.
Ah.
And it's like, oh, that's
Ah.
funny. But what's even funnier is it's Will Ferrell, who then made Land of the Lost 8 years after this.
Yeah.
And they're still called Marshall, Will, and Holly in that version too. So I think that's the best
That's
character name,
amazing.
to somehow play off an old thing and predict the future with it actually being Will Ferrell that's in it. So Marshall, Will, and Holly, best character name.
I love it. My Chewbacca award is literally the first scene, which makes no sense. Is Silent Bob's mum says, here's a hat to keep the sun off your eyes, and puts it fucking backwards.
But backwards, yeah.
It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah, Chewbacca Award. I like it. The Chewbacca Award for the thing that makes no sense.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
yes,
It's
Her
a South
doing
Park
that and
thing
put it
if you haven't
backwards.
heard it before.
Yes,
Right,
that does not
perfect.
make sense.
Are you spent, Chris?
Yeah, I'll let you pick some. Pick the card. Carcass.
We've hit most of them because I've got rid of most of the awards.
Oh shit! What else have I got?
Um,
Cops.
Best
got a Michael-
supporting is the only one I've missed,
I've
which
got
I
Michael
have.
Pena.
Oh, I don't have Michael Pena.
There was a
Michael
Michael
Pena
Caine.
is Jason Mewes talking about the monkeys and how they take over the world.
Oh, you're right. It is Jason Mewes' Planet of the Apes. Yeah,
Yes.
that's definitely, yeah. I've gone for best supporting, and I'm providing 3 suggestions for supporting, and it's Will Ferrell, Shannon Elizabeth, or Kevin Smith. I think one of
Kevin
them
Smith.
is best. Kevin Smith? The
Well,
best
like,
support?
I was going to do Shannon Elizabeth because it is her film, but Kevin Smith, his face just it does help this film.
Anytime he
That's
speaks
okay.
as well, it's so velvety.
Oh, that's like
Yeah,
he's had
when he actually
he's a
talks.
couple in this one, but yeah, just him. The sign on the back of the car.
It's the
Him
one that, like
expl-
that way he
the
shouts,
end.
but it's at the
Yeah.
end. Just explain it. It's a
But no, yeah,
real
his
soft
Yeah.
end
voice.
bit. It's like, well, actually, Banky, I think you're
Yeah.
fine. He just raises you.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Ergo, you owe us
Yes.
fat stats.
I feel bad for Will Ferrell there. I think he maybe could have won. And Shannon Elizabeth, I mean, I think she's never winning an acting award now. I think this was her
She's
She's in
chance.
one
done.
film and one film only in a scary movie. That's the one she actually
I don't think she's gonna win in
excels at.
Right, fair enough.
We tried. I
Um,
tried.
I think that's it. I don't have anything to add because we've narrowed it down, and Chris and I are on the same wavelength with a lot. I think I've run out. Apart from best product placement, Andy, did you get one?
Miramax.
Miramax, I think it has to be. Has to be. Point 9 on the podcast. The moral of the story. What was the lesson we were supposed to learn? Jane Silent Bob. For me, everyone in Hollywood is a dick. That is the moral of the story. Chris, what's your moral of the story?
If you get picked up by a driver, oral is expected.
That's right. Yes. And Andy, what's yours?
If little dickholes slag you off on the internet, go and kick the shit out of them.
That's the way to do it. Point 10, the 10-point rating, where we rate the film out of 10. Andy picked it. He goes first. I thought Chris hadn't seen it, so did he. He goes last, and I'll be in the middle. Andy.
I love this film. I can literally just put it on at any stage of this film, like halfway through, 3/4 through, and there's a funny bit in it. This is my humor over and over, and it's quite simply it's a 9.
9. Cannot argue. We've often talked in the past about comedy that you kind of have to grade comedy differently, I think. And it's like something that's a 9, it's a comedy film, doesn't mean it's this like the second best film of all time. It's just it appeals to you. For me, this film is fun, but it's not hilarious. I think that's where it stands for me. And I'm kind of in the middle. I've maybe seen it too much, but also not enough. I'm not quite in the I love this film because I've seen it a million times and I laugh at everything, but also I've maybe seen it too often to be surprised by anything. So I've landed at a very mean and miserly 6, I think, out of 10. It's maybe better than that, but 6 is where I've landed. Chris, what's your score?
I'm starting to agree with a lot of folk that Jane Silent Bob are only good in small doses.
Shut your fucking mouth.
They say that in the film. They say it in the
Yeah.
film.
They're only good in like other people's movies, like Clerks, but it's not about them. They just make an appearance and do their shtick. Like it gets boring quite quickly, I think. And there was a few funny moments, mostly Jay just rattling off a whole bunch of stuff and just doing funny stuff. There's a lot of eye rolls, like the whole heist scene.
Just
it's
say it.
bullshit.
Don't spray
It's
it.
a 5.
Oh,
5.
what's your
Okay.
damage, little boy? Jesus hell.
See, like if it was just a film about him, 10. Just random quotes, but yeah.
There's a
Oh,
balance because there is even films where there isn't enough Jane Silent Bob. Like
Yes.
it's you need to get
Jason
the perfect
Amy's
amount.
that. Trust me.
Right, okay. A 7 is where we land, which is fair. I think 7
seems fair.
might have been where I went, and also if I'd rated it a 7, it would have still been a 7. So I think that's a 7 out of 10 is probably right for Jane
Savages.
Silent Bob Strike Back. I mean, it's the top end of Kevin Smith films, but it's not the best one. It's like anyone would try and argue it's the best one. It's Andy's first selection. He says he has a theme, Chris. We both get one guess at what it is. I've got an absolute wrong answer, but I thought Andy might try and subvert things. And this might be the first in Andy's selection of his favourite directors. Andy, is that your theme?
I hate directors, so no.
Right, okay. I thought maybe you might be like, well, here's some good ones. I thought you might be, but no, that's okay. Chris, what's your one guess at Andy's theme?
I'm going to say Andy's favorite films.
Ooh.
Everything's my favorite film. That's why I do this podcast. But no,
Well, no, everything's your favorite.
I mean, if we look historically, I think you've rated more films below a 2 or more below a 3
I
than
still enjoy
anyone.
them. They're still up on my
And
list.
you've given out fewer 10s than anyone as well, I think.
I'm going to say like your top tier films.
You
I
said
think I'm going all out this season.
Well, I like his
No, I'm
favorite films. Like his top tier films.
not. No.
He's going out with.
it's not that. Right, that's our guesses. We'll get 2 guesses next time on Andy's theme. Next time on the podcast is Chris's selection. Now, Chris and I we've basically come with the same thing. Neither of us especially want to go, and we've both got a long film that But Chris is in a long film that somebody won't like. And
I
if it's
liked
long,
it.
I imagine it's going to appeal to me. It's not going to appeal
Andy's
to
not going to
Andy.
like it, I don't think.
Right, okay. So, Chris, your pick is next, and then my one that's going to be a good double header for Andy.
I'm ready for my veto. I've decided this season I'm allowed 2 vetoes.
You've decided that you get two. Right.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a long film. It's
Ah,
a film, since we're now living in a kind of is it a pre-war stage, since war is inevitable, as I heard in the
Ah.
news, I'm going to do a war film.
ugh.
And yeah, as with actors I don't think we've done. So
Ugh, that's even worse.
Apocalypse Now.
All right, I like that film.
Oh, right. That's long. That's long. Now,
film.
my
Yeah.
opinion on Apocalypse Now is it is hugely long and
Yes.
really difficult to watch, but that's because the only DVD version I've got is the Apocalypse Now Redux that has about an hour extra on it. And I thought it was like
Yeah, that might
when
be
the
where
days
I
of
am as
DVD
well.
special DVDs came out. I was, oh, this must be the special version, and it's like 4 hours long. It's like, oh my god! So hopefully I can see the actual version of
It's been
Apocalypse
a
Now.
long time since I've seen this.
I have to remember Martin Sheen.
I hate to break your actors we've never done before, but we've definitely done Robert Duvall before.
Yes.
So
It's been a long
Martin Sheen,
time.
have we?
Also,
Never done a
actor who
Sheen.
is
Never
top
done a
tier, like on the not top tier, like top on the list. He's in it for one
Hmm.
scene,
Right.
so that's
Well,
going to come up.
You've
With,
screwed one of my picks up because I'm there. I was picking up the ultimate banger of a war film, but I can't now. So
Right, fair
Okay.
enough. I mean, it's going to be a good double header. I tell you,
Yeah.
mine's afterwards. But anyway,
Ah,
Apocalypse
shit.
Now, starring Martin Sheen, and his name escapes me. I've just realised.
Marlon
Yeah, his name
Brando.
escapes. Marlon Brando.
Yes.
And Harrison Ford's in it. Robert Duvall, and
that's
it's
the one I
on
was talking about, Harrison Ford.
Lawrence Fishburne. Is he in it?
Yes,
I think
he's
he
in
might
it.
be in it on the
Yeah,
boat.
he lied
He's on
about
the
his
boat.
age to be in this film.
Yeah,
That's
a
right.
young Lawrence Fishburne.
Very
He's very
young.
young, yeah.
There we go. Apocalypse Now. You've probably heard of it. I'm going to watch the non-Redux version. I'm looking forward to
too.
that. And you've got 7 days to find that. And we'll see you next time on the 10 Point
Just to
Podcast.
watch it.